In this video, let's set up the gantry. So similarly, like you set up the draw here. So like okay, so basically this one we set it from the machine category, right? On the left. So first you will have this import this from like okay, add machine, not add machine, yeah, add machine cat file, right? So then select okay the base real base. Okay, so then you have this real base here. So at the beginning it will be somewhere, the location of it will be somewhere maybe on the top of this robot, and have a weird angle. You have to change it to the you know I would just drag the the location to rearrange the location right to the surface of this environment, right? And also one thing you should be aware of is the working area. So when you click the envelope of this working area, you don't want the gantry be outside of it, right? So otherwise the robot cannot reach to your to this gantry, and also not too close to the robot. So let me turn it off. Then you under the real base, right? You have this, you need to add a link, which is a moving part. Uh, in our case, it's this carrier here, right? So basically, you just add it, point the directory of this CAD, and then change the angle. Basically, I just drag the part. So sometimes, I mean, I found this part when you import it, it's kind of behind this kind of hidden. It was like hidden. Uh, I mean, below this base. So you have to know where to find it, right? So yeah, it's not always on top of this robot or somewhere else. That's something you need to be aware of. So then you basically just drag and make sure it's kind of aligned to this real, not necessarily to be perfect, but kind of like that. So after that, similar like the draw, you want to set up the motion of it, right? So and what I want to do, or what I need to do is just select this one, and then you want to set the motion to be IO controlled, right? So then apply, so it will be IO controlled. Then, but one thing I want to mention in here, I found, so you can see here, when you after you applied it, so notice the option here under the this general tab, right? So click OK, and then double click this draw, and let me see. Mm, uh, so let me see if there's something. Oh, okay. So okay, external. Yeah, you when you use device IO control, it will be no problem. But sometimes you may select to the wrong external like IO motion. Then in general here, so sometimes the motor visible will be like this, because that means okay, because for this software it will simulate. Sometimes it will simulate the force to drive this moving part, because for example this gantry should have its own motor to drive it. So in the software you can select, make this one available, kind of like a, in previous video we can see we saw a motor right over there. So basically you want to uh, deselect this motor visible. So yeah, then you don't have to bother it, right? So for the motion here, okay, so for us, because we are using device IO, which means it's from the robot to control this gantry, right? That's the project too, right? So we connect the IO between the robot. It's not like something other devices. So when you select this device IO controlled, you will not see any motor here. So that's fine. Just some extra information for you in case you met this issue. So again, it's a linear motion, so you can set it, for example, yeah, uh, similar like a previous setting. Now we're using for the 5 DO5 on to 300 millimeter, right? So where is off? Is DO file off 5 off? It's in the 0 location. Let's test it. Okay, so it didn't work. Let me apply it. Okay, but it's along the x-axis, so we want it to be not axis, should be like let's see. You can just try it until you find the not work. So let me go to this one. Right, so yeah, it should be x-axis right here. So let's test it. Okay, now it's working. Right, so it's let's zoom it in, zoom it out. Okay, it's too far. Let's set it to be, like, for example, 50 or no, 200. And then here is negative like 20 something. So let's test it, right? Okay, so now or you can, for example, just drag the x to a 0 location. So then set it to 0, set this one to, for example, 300. Okay, so now you have a, right, so kind of a perfect range of moving it, right? So, all right. So then, so in this video, that's not the main purpose, because you can see it's basically the same thing that we set up the draw, right? So what I want to show you, okay, to move it, because you may need it to, for programming, you want to use the teaching pendant for control this part, right? To simulate the control of this part. So instead of that, test, right? So to do that, you will go to menu and go to click menu on the teaching pattern, IO, and then it's digital IO, right? The digital IO, then you go to, okay, so here you have the digital output pins listed here. If you want to simulate input, so for output, you can directly click digital, this like a off status column, right? So you to select, okay, digital 1. So click on, it will be on. Click it off, it will be off, right? So, but for our case, we use like 5. So we click it on, it goes one for location, and click off, it goes to another, right? So remember the draw. Remember we use digital 2. So then we can use the digital 2 to, right, control it, right, to test it. So, and then what more information if it's input, I mean, based on the robot perspective, it's an input of this robot, because it should be connected to a like a device. You cannot really turn it on here. You have to first select, click this in out, make it to the digital input list. Then for the input you want to simulate, you need to first set up the simulation status here. For example, digital, like let's say 1. You need to click the simulate, make it as a simulation type. Then now you can change the on off status of this input. Okay, so go back to simulation, then deselect it. I click the end simulation, right, status. So now, so you cannot really turn it on or off, it doesn't work, right? So that's the difference between an input and the output. Okay, so and also, so for your programming, so you may need to set up the different location. So this way you directly, because you are going to program directly using teaching pendant, and you are going to need to test the movement of this motion of these parts by using a teaching pendant. That's the way. Okay, thank you so much.